Oh, hey everybody, it's Uncle Doug. Let me get you down on the right screen here. I got multiple things happening. God bless you all. It's Uncle Doug and Jesus. Uh, I'm late signing on for the chat. It's Monday at 6. Normally we do this. I am with Fellowship of the Martyrs, a ministry here outside of Kansas City, trying to change the world. No big deal. How hard could it be? And let's see. I'm trying to put my phone on Do Not Disturb so it won't ring while I'm doing this. Oh, man. It is the 9th of June. This year is racing by. Racing by. Hope you are doing well. Curtis, God bless you. Nice to see you too. Faithful person to thumbs up videos and comment and been around for a while. Connor, God bless you. Um, Lots of stuff's in the wind, people. And we got a bunch of stuff done today. I haven't really had anything to eat. I want to go home and relax, but I don't get to. There's still lots of things to do. And but I wanted to say hi to you guys. So I don't know how long this will last, but God is love. Hello, God bless you. Welcome. Don't recognize you. Maybe you got a different name than usual, but God bless you and welcome. I have been in the midst of the warfare that we're going through at the moment, really, really making an effort to listen to the Lord and obey, because that's what you do when everything around you is going crazy. Turtle up, keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, try not to hurt people, try not to sin, try to listen real good, and only do what he tells you to do. You know, if you're walking through a minefield, you don't just put your headphones on and blast the radio and tune out everybody and just dance a little jig all over. You shut up and you listen to the experts as they tell you where to put your foot so you don't hit a landmine. And that's sort of the situation we're in at the moment. Sort of live there all the time, actually, but more than normal at the moment. So trying really hard to draw in close to the Lord and listen. I wrote a book called Dialogues with God that's free on the website if you haven't read that. And it's just some conversations with the Lord, mostly when I was on my big trip traveling around the country. And he just said, write this down. So the normal conversation maybe I'd have in the morning when I got out of bed. Good morning, Lord. Good morning, son. I love you. I love you too. Got to do this today. Don't forget to do this today. Yes, Lord. Whatever. And sometimes encouragement, sometimes instruction, sometimes rebuke. But he's had me pull out the old notebook and start handwriting some dialogues again, conversations with the Lord. I know how to test the spirits. I've got books about that. I got videos about that. You can certainly hear what you want to hear, fill in the blanks yourself, have a conversation with yourself and pretend it's God. There are all kind of ways that you can be under a delusion and it will sound like God and it will pass every test. But because he's turned you over, um, it's maybe something else, or maybe God intent on your destruction. I can tell you stories about people that told me this is what God told me. And I'm like, Lord, that's what he heard. He heard, it's okay, buddy. Don't ever ask me again what you can do for me. What I said was, don't you ever ask me again what you can do for me. Because he wrote God a blank check. Whatever you want. I'm feeling magnanimous today. Lord, I'll do whatever. Just ask me anything, I'll give it to you. Ask me to go anywhere, I'll do it. Ask me whatever, I'll do it. God said, move your wife and your 3 little blonde little girls into the hood. into the urban core, roughest of the rough places, and tell them about Jesus. All day he thought about it. All day he thought about it. Said, Lord, he's just got pictures of his little white girls in the middle of whatever. I can't do it, Lord. I can't. I'm sorry. And that was the moment he got under Red Dragon. That was the moment God turned him over to delusion, because he wrote God a blank check and then took it back and tore it up right in front of God. And I met him and I prayed, Lord, show me what's really going on with this guy. And right away, he tells me this story. And he says, the Lord said, it's okay, buddy. Don't ask me what you can do for me. You know, I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. I don't need you to do something for me. What God really said was, don't you ever ask me again what you can do for me. But he heard it the way he needed to hear it, the way he wanted to hear it, the way God wanted him to hear it, so he could just wander off and go his own way and feel justified in doing it. If you think you're rich and have need of nothing, but you're really blind, wretched, naked, and poor, God turned you over to that. I can't rebuke it off you. I can't talk you out of it. You are absolutely sure you're okay. I've heard tons of pastors preach about how American church is the sleepy church of Laodicea, but it's always those people out there, not us. Anyway, I'm also really struggling. My husband of 10 years says he does not love me anymore and wants to leave. I don't know what to do. We have a child. He's a good man, but he has childhood trauma. Due to that, it destroyed our marriage. His childhood trauma. Well, if um, if God put you together, um, God wants it to stay together, and you ought to try to address what's really going on at the bottom of the trauma. But that's like the landmine they don't want to touch. I understand completely what you're saying, and I've been in similar circumstance. I've that third rail, that untouchable thing. Satan really doesn't want to let go of. He's using it to wreck that person's life, and he doesn't want to let go of it, and will fight like crazy. My best suggestion: uh, find some excuse to put your hand on him. Maybe when he's sleeping, if he's sleeping in the same room as you still, just put your hand on him and ball up all the Jesus that's in you and shove it at him as hard as you can. You don't have to tell him you're praying for him. You don't have to tell him you're pushing demons out of him. You don't have to nothing. Just say, Lord, whatever you gave me, whatever favor I have in your eyes, whatever ability I have to hear you, whatever ability I have to rejoice in affliction, whatever healing you did in me, take it all and give it to him. That kind of sacrificial praying is going to get the Lord's attention, and you're going to impart to him some coping skills and maybe some peace and maybe some love. And either his demons will roll over and smack you and yell at you for trying, or he'll start to turn. And if he doesn't turn, then rejoice. Um, Look, I know I've got two daughters I haven't seen in 20 years. Um, they're old enough to reach out to me. They're 24, 25 years old. But she has poisoned them to the point where I don't know what they think, but um, the Lord says part of the plan. I couldn't run a homeless shelter with them in tow. She didn't obey God. She didn't do what she was supposed to do. God could have made it beautiful, but she was determined to be her own God, to keep her stuff, not to sell all she had and give it to the poor, not to risk everything on God, because she's got to be her own boss. And that spirit of Jezebel is not just on women either. Um, People, this age, has taught behavior-based love over and over and over, that I'll love you so long as I feel like it. I'll love you so long as you do what I want you to do. I'll love you so long as you put out. I'll love you so long as you have a good job. I'll love you so long as you're not in a wheelchair. I'll love you so long as whatever. And it's all conditional, and it's all the world. And agape says, I will love you if you crucify me. I will love you if you put a spear in my side. I will love you because at the last second you said you want to be with me in paradise, and I will love you even though you're a thief that didn't want to. Um, you know, our neighbors, they're both neighbors. You understand? We're obligated to love them both. And love should never fail. Love should keep no record of wrongs. Love should rejoice in all things. And he's not. If he's a Christian, I don't know that you can show him Bible and it'll mean anything to him if his heart is hard, which means he may not be a Christian. And it means that if he's not willing to stay with you, you're released. If he's not walking with God, if he's not obeying God, and he refuses to be with you, you're released, not under bondage. He broke that covenant. To having to hold to it's a contract. In Jewish law, it's a very complicated contract with a prenup built in and assignment of assets afterwards, and who gets what, and here, if I leave you, this happens, and if you leave me, this happens, and if you cheat on me, this happens, and it's quite a thing. And there are real costs to violating it. We've made it far too much about feelings and not about obligation. I don't love Jesus because he gives me warm fuzzies when I raise my hands and sing "We All Fall Down, We Lay at Your Feet" or whatever. When I'm never laying down and falling down, whatever. Do you realize you're lying when you stand there? We all fall down, and you're all standing up singing. Fall down, for Pete's sake. It would be way better. Anyway, shock the other people in church. Maybe they'd fall down. Maybe it'd be good for them. I'm sorry, God is love. I I think that if you pray to see through the eyes of Jesus, you pray to share in his sufferings, you just about have to have a spouse that's a selfish, Jezebel-y, self-willed, doesn't want to talk to you, wants to take your kids, uh, stinker. Yesterday, when I got up in the morning, he said, I want you to rewrite Jeremiah to the bride. He said, it's time to preach some fire, to pound the pulpit, and to say whatever you got to say to my bride, to get her to see, if it were possible. And he said, don't worry about language. Don't be obscene, but use language for effect. And I know what he meant. There was a preacher named Mike Warnke back in the 80s, was a Christian comedian and evangelist, had been a satanic priest or something. And I remember going to a concert. I think I was in 8th grade. Second chapter of Acts, which is a charismatic group. No Baptist names themselves Second Chapter of Acts. uh, anyway, concert was good, and then he came out to preach and made some jokes and was interesting and caught everybody's attention. And we got 800, 1,000 youth groups, kids with their youth pastors and whatever, down at the music hall in Kansas City. And he's talking about how none of us really care about the lost around us, that they're dying in their sins. They're going to go to hell. People you work next to, people you talk to in school, but you don't tell them about Jesus because you're afraid. And you just don't care, and your hearts are hard. And he got louder and louder, and he said, none of you give a shit about the lying, the dying and lost around you. And all you can hear the gasp, all these youth pastors, oh, he just used a bad word in front of the youth groups. And he paused and he said, and the worst thing is, you're going to talk more about and remember more that I used that word than the people are dying in their sins and you're doing nothing about it. And everybody went, oh, he's right. He's totally right. Anyway, I'm fixing to go all Old Testament on the bride and say stuff that nobody else is saying that they should be saying. It's horrifyingly bad. Statistically, spiritually, it's horrifyingly bad. And everybody's giving her a pass. And she is broken in 1,000 different ways and content and self-satisfied. And something's got to break. He's not coming back for this. There is no pre-trib rapture where she's dressed in white without wrinkle or spot and he comes back for this. She needs tribulation to beat the crap out of her so she accumulates the kind of scar tissue and humility so that she can be a match set with Jesus. And when he comes back, she'll be humbled and she'll be broken and she'll love real good and she will be unrecognizable as a bride. She will be covered in scar tissue, bloodied, beaten, worn out, and really, really desperately glad to see him. Because tribulation is what it takes. He chastens those that he loves. And right now, we're the worst time the world's ever seen because the church is the worst it's ever been. Mostly the West. And somebody's got to say it as loud and as boldly and unashamedly and unafraid as they possibly can. And I'm willing. So I'm putting out some shorts about statistics in the church. Do you know, Ashley, becoming a prayer warrior, Curtis, do you know that if you take everything we spend on Jesus in the United States, concerts, programs, salaries, church buildings, everything we spend on Jesus, and you divide by the number of baptisms, you get a rough estimate of return on investment. So how much does it cost per baptism in the United States? Anybody? Anybody? $1.55 million per person. Mozambique, $1,400. India, $9,600. People are desperate. It hardly takes anything. A few bags of tracts and a native missionary, and bam, you got hundreds of people saved. Here, man, you got to have a laser light singing Christmas tree and some kind of cantata and who knows what. 4 times a day, Americans have a chance to hear about Jesus. Between T-shirts and bumper stickers and radios and billboards on the highway, on average, you hear about Jesus 4 times a day in the United States. Saved, church, whatever you are, atheist, anyway, it's bombarding you. And yet, half the Baptist churches in the country had no baptisms last year. At least the Presbyterians are baptismal babies. They at least have some statistics because people are reproducing. As if that were saving people. It is horrifyingly bad. Millions and millions are leaving denominational Christianity, not to mention craziness like the Methodists splitting over LGBT, QIA plus whatevers. John Wesley would take a flamethrower to the Methodist Church. And here we are. Anyway, Crystal, it's hard to fast for days at a time because of hormones. Will God recognize half-day fasting? I need a breakthrough. Well, sometimes fasting will help get you closer to Him. It doesn't get him closer to you. It doesn't earn his affection or attention. He is omnipresent, omniscient. He's always aware of you and exactly what you're going through. He's always present with you. It's about you getting your heart closer to him. And there's lots of ways you can do that that don't involve food or water. There's lots of fasts. A fast is stopping something that I want in favor of what he wants. Okay. Uh, I did a video about fasting once, and I said, look, before you fast from food and water, fast from porn. And people are like, it's not a fast to stop doing porn. I'm like, okay, fast from bad language, fast from saying anything. There's cloisters where the monks go and they take a vow of silence because the tongue's a dangerous thing. Whatever, there's all kind of ways. I fast from career, I fast from goals, I fast from family, I fast from money, I fast from my own desires, I fast from all kinds of stuff besides just food. And there's times he used to have me fast without food or water 7, 8 days at a time, like 20 days out of the month. The first couple of years, I lost like almost 100 pounds. Uh, and then it stopped. And then he put me out on the road, and I was fasting from going to my divorce hearing, trying to get my kids back. I was fasting from career and goals and all kinds of stuff. I'm traveling around with people that don't like me and don't want to be there with me, but I'm stuck with them, and that's a fast. I'm giving everything I have to the poor and trusting God for every dollar, listening to Him about everywhere. I 6 months traveling the country, 32 states, 18,000 miles, every intersection, left, right, or straight ahead. Unless He said just drive to Globe, Arizona. Uh, no GPS, no phone. Pay by the minute phone, whatever. There's all kinds of things. You can fast from chocolate. You can fast. A Daniel fast is meats, fasting from meats and just having vegetables. An Esther fast is a complete 24-hour, no food, no water, no nothing. There's all kind of ways. And the goal is not, Crystal, if we had time, would dig into what your dad was like and what you learned about God and how we were putting him in a box shaped like Earth Dad and how it was hard to please Dad. And now you think it's hard to please God. And you're trying to do everything you can think of to try to make him happy with you, but nothing works. And it's because you have that expectation. Instead of what he says, that he guides you continually, that he's beside you every day, that he leads you by still waters, that he guards you against your enemies, that he's doing all of that regardless of whether or not you're eating or drinking. Your heart needs to be closer to him, not trying to draw him in to pay attention to you because he's busy and he overlooks you. And you wish he would just stop and talk to you for a minute, but he's off running the universe. So you're going to fast to get him. Oh, hey, look, Crystal's fasting. Maybe I should go talk to her for a minute. It's not like that. He's just waiting for you to draw closer to him. If I hit anything on the nose, just say you're sorry for putting him in a box shaped like Earth Dad and ask him to be a dad to you however he wants to. And he will swoop in and kiss your boo boos and push you on the swings and tell you how much he loves you, and everything will be easier. We got a bunch of people around here know about marriage and whatever. I didn't do a follow up on the dentist appointment the other day, but they took my front tooth out. This one. Oh, this one. I already had that one broke off about a month before, and I didn't know there's a cavity in the side of this side of the front one, but it was kind of hollowed out. And I bit down on a piece of jerky. It wasn't even hard. It was a snack stick. It wasn't even like hard dry jerky, and it just woke, and it was dangling by the nerve. When I did that short video where I flipped it around, freak people out. So they say I got another week or so for it to heal, and then I got to go in and they're going to do x-rays and see about bone density and look at options for a bridge or a partial, which is like a retainer stuck up there. He kind of suggested, you don't have too many teeth left. You might as well just do dentures. I'm like, oh man, I'm 57. They got to pull all my teeth out. And then we've had people here get them, and they're like, it doesn't fit, it hurts, I got to do it again. They don't want to, I got to go to court, I got to, just whatever. Just a hassle. If I stall long enough, he'll come back and then it won't matter. If I just chew on the other side for a while or whatever. I'm trying not to be vain about it. I know there's people, they don't want to listen to a snaggletooth pastor. They're like, you're representing. You should be, pressed clothes and combed hair and whatever. And I'm like, I don't know if that's consistent with sackcloth and ashes and stuff. I don't know which of the Old Testament guys they ran around naked with their butt showing for 2 years because the Lord said to. You know, Elijah they called baldy, and bears came out and mauled all these kids. Whatever. Hey, Moriocho, God bless you. Uh, Pizza has broken his teeth. Well, yeah, okay. Uh, Fast from entertainment. You know what? If you want to get closer to God, turn your phone off, or turn the data off, and just answer phone calls when you have to, or turn it off after hours, after work hours, or something. Go sit under a tree, look up at the sky, and tell him what's going on. Cry about it if you want to. Don't talk at him. Talk with the expectation that he's going to answer, that he's going to respond to you, and he will. Don't think that he's too busy for you. Don't think that you're unimportant to him. He knows the name of every atom, every muon, every quark in the universe, knows where it starts, where it stops, and everything it bumps into in between. And you don't think he knows what you should have for breakfast? He does. He'll tell you what shirt to wear. I got thousands of stories of amazing things that wouldn't have happened if I didn't listen to him tell me what to do. Anyway, make time for God. Yeah. And Lokia, God bless you. I want to be honest with you guys. I don't know how to balance the mercy and the severity of God. I've been years now really struggling with. I've got to be obedient to the verses that say rejoice in all things. I know we win. I have joy. But there's also verses that says give your eyes no rest until peace comes to Jerusalem. Raise up your wailing women's, coo like doves and growl like bears for the siege that's come on Jerusalem. And the church is under siege. And they're eating each other. And it's far worse than Josephus's account of Jerusalem in AD 70, or when the Assyrians attacked the first temple. It is horribly, horribly bad. We have defiled temples full of dead bodies all over the place. If you look in the spirit, it's like a Mad Max post apocalyptic, skulls everywhere, killer robot, crazy end of the world scene that I see and practically nobody else sees. And I know I'm right. I know it's there. I have people call me almost every day. I've been to every church in town. They're all whacked. What do I do? Who can I fellowship with? I tell them, man, go find somebody holding the heads of the junkies, getting girls out of prostitution, feeding the hungry. At least they have the heart of Jesus. Maybe they're not even Christians. Maybe they don't even hear God very well, but they heard enough to give up whatever they were doing and go care for the least of these. And that's his heart. They're closer to God than the pastor at the megachurch. I'm not sad. I'm grieving, which I'm supposed to. That's what he made me for. He even made me to repent on behalf of other people, on behalf of whole nations. Like Moses went up the hill, said, blot me out of the book, but send them into the promised land. I've prayed that kind of stuff. I don't know how many times. I don't deserve heaven. Why should I demand it? Why should I even expect it? He can do whatever he wants to do. If it brings him glory somehow for me not to go to heaven, who am I to argue? It's a gift. I don't get to demand it. I don't get to earn it. I serve because he's worthy to be served, not because I get something. That's just humanism. Or avoid punishment. That's still humanism. Some people don't know him well enough to know how worthy he is, how right it is to do whatever he says, how amazing it is when it how it turns out. So amazing when you do what he says, and then stuff you couldn't possibly imagine results. Amazing. It's not coincidences, not whatever. When I had a vision, November 23rd, 2004, I had a vision of how bad things are, how mad he is at the church, and how much we need to hurry in. I didn't get a prayer language. I got groaning and screaming. And people at my little Baptist church would say, but Doug, where's your joy? I'm like, I don't know. That's a good question, Lord. Where's my joy? Lord says, they're not talking about joy. You got joy. You know me. You hear me. You know we win in the end. You know I'm going to take care of you. They're talking about happy. They're talking about worship as a feel good, whatever thing. And they don't understand the wrath of God. And I tried to explain it. And they're like, what about the love of God? I'm like, Lord, am I leaving out the love of God? He said, no. There's lots of people that preach about the love of God. There's hardly anybody preaches about the wrath of God. That's what you're for. Uh, let them all, you know, anybody wants to talk about the love of God. But you'll get thrown out of a lot of churches if you give a tongue an interpretation and it's a rebuke. Oh, God doesn't talk to us like that. God only says loving, sweet, affirming things. Really? So you're not one of his because he chastens those he loves. And if he's not chasing you or you're unwilling to be chastened, nah, you might not be one of his. They've killed the prophets over and over and over. I know bunches of people. They locked them in mental wards. They did all kinds of stuff because they didn't want to hear the hard things. I'm banned for life for churches all over Kansas City. If they're still standing, a bunch of them burnt to the ground, and it wasn't me. Uh, or closed down, or the pastor's got Alzheimer's or something. Anyway, um, anybody got these in their country? We got a bunch of them in a box at a auction thing. They're little milky kid drink things, but they're pretty good for just a shot of something wet. They're not overly sugary. Anyway, I think they're from Philippines or something. Where's my glasses? Ashley says, "What's up with the tent revival you went to? Was that okay?" Well, who am I to judge another man's servant? Um, Torrance, California, product of Indonesia. Anyway, I got invited. Apostle Kelly has a bunch of the Cure franchises all over, and he's the head dog that started it all, I guess. And he preached a lot of the right stuff. He really preached repentance. He really pounded about their need to be holy, and he did a altar call before the sermon, which is cool. And lots of people, I mean, lots of people. The tent was packed. There was probably 200 there, and probably 20, 30 people went forward to either get saved or rededicate their life to Jesus. And I don't know for sure because I don't know them people, but a whole bunch of the people went forward, had the Cure t-shirts on, and I think there's a certain percentage of people just rededicate their life every time there's an opportunity. And maybe it looks like a lot more people are going forward to give somebody other courage. I don't know. It felt like they were just preaching to the choir. That's the short of it. It didn't. There weren't people, my toothless people there. There was a very attractive, fairly well dressed, lots of ministry shirts people there. And I stopped him after, as they were 3 security guards, one with an AR, 2 with sidearms, were escorting him off. I managed to get his eye and shake his hand and give him an apology of the world letter. He was on my list of people to try to get a hold of several weeks ago. I sent a message through their website, never heard back. I suspect I'll have to get more time with him sooner or later. But I don't know how well, if I say, look, the only biblical church is Church of Kansas City, Kansas, Church of Leawood, Church of Lenexa, Church of Overland Park, Church of whatever, those pastors that you've raised up that started their thing in Lenexa or Lee Summit or whatever, they report to the Church of Lee Summit. They don't report to you. You need to loose them to go be a part of the biblical church of Lee Summit, not your I'm for Peter, I'm for Paul, I'm for Apollos segmented piece of it. Man, I don't know. I don't know if he's ready to hear that. There's a lot about, not a lot, around the edges, hints of you need to be undercover. You need to not start anything without permission. You need to be respectful of the people above you, which to me just pushes all kind of buttons that I don't like. So I don't know. Brother Carlene that morning from Team Jesus, he also has responsibility over lots of Team Jesus franchises. But he's all about serving other ministries, helping other ministries. They go all over the world. They're not having Sunday services. They're not recruiting members. They take a team to Africa just to help this or that orphanage or support some other ministry when they're invited or whatever. That's more a part of what they are than anything else. Anyway, and I find it a lot easier to help Brother Brian. And Brother Brian invited me to preach at their Saturday it's the first Saturday of the month in September. I'm supposed to preach. And he will hand me a microphone and get out of the way, which is uber rare. I mean, ultra rare. That somebody with a megaphone would say, I have no idea what you're going to say, but I trust you. Here's a microphone. Have at it. And then I've seen him do it before with me, where I had a word from the Lord, he let me say it. And where another pastor there was like, that's not God. God didn't tell you to say that stuff. I'm like, you didn't like it, but yeah, it was God. And brother Brian backed me up. Kelly, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know me yet. Maybe God hadn't explained it to him yet. I had one pastor I went to church one time on Wednesday night. I'm walking in with a friend that invited me. We're walking up to the door, And the pastor, as it happens, had just got out of his car, was holding the door for me. And I said, thank you. And we went in, and he was playing bass or something on the worship team. And then they do their laying hands and knocking people over Wednesday night thing they do every week. And afterwards, I asked him if I could maybe get an appointment with him. He said, yeah, come in Tuesday at 1 or 2, whatever it was. And I walk into his office, and he said, before we get started, I need to tell you, as you were walking toward me in the parking lot, the Lord said, pure heart and pure motives about you. I burst into tears. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, do you know how hard it is to get him to say that about somebody? You know how many times I've been places where I didn't trust my heart and my motives, and that he's telling you, just give me a minute to thank him. That's really beautiful. And I cried and thanked the Lord. He said, oh, yeah, and I'm supposed to do this. And he reaches into his own wallet, pulls out $100 bill, and gives it to me. And I talked about the Lord had sent me there to help him. The Lord wanted to have revival there, and that I wanted just whatever I could do. And one of the things I can do that I had just done at another church right before that, let me just stand by the door when everybody's coming in with one of your deacons or somebody that knows everybody, and I'll tell you, that's an apostle, that's a prophet, that's an evangelist. Maybe they're not walking in their calling and they should. Maybe you're not using them the way you should. Maybe you need to enlist them and to empower them to do more of whatever it is they're supposed to do. But I can real quickly give you a troop strength idea of who you've got here and how maybe they could be utilized better. He said, oh, thanks anyway, I don't need that. Just dismissed me. A couple weeks later, I prayed for somebody without permission. After they told me, look, you're not trained, you're not on the prayer team. You need to have one of the official prayer people here. If you're going to give them a word, you're going to pray with them. You can't just be praying for people on your own. And I prayed for somebody without permission. And the next time I went, they threw me out. And then a year or so later, it burnt to the ground. Uh, I'm shocked sometimes at the resources that I have watched walk in the door and a pastor throw them out because they don't look the way he wants. Do you think a car accident could be an attack from the enemy? Total the car. Crystal, it sure could. But several times we've been really in need of money, don't know where it's going to come from. And then Cindy pulls out and some little girl T-bones the car, not watching where she's going, not her turn to pull out. She hit our Lincoln Navigator, didn't hurt the Navigator, wrecked her little Honda Civic. Her insurance gave us like $4,000 to total the Navigator. And we paid $100 to keep the Navigator, and it was perfectly okay. My Dodge truck one time, a lady hit our trailer from behind, and shoved the whole hitch up under the truck, and they totaled the truck, gave me $4,000 for the trailer and $2,000 for the truck, and it did total the trailer, but we just hooked the trailer hitch to a tree and yanked real hard and pulled it back out. So I don't know. Maybe it's God's way of providing. Maybe it's time for a better car. I know that whatever the enemy takes from you, God's going to replace it with something better. So just hang in there and watch and see what he does, and don't let it get to you. The right answer, no matter what you're going through, I tell people, just ask the Lord. Excuse me. Just ask the Lord how he wants you to feel, and then shut up and feel however he tells you. Because he's not going to say, "Oh, this is so terrible. You need to be depressed. You need to panic. You need to be afraid." He's going to say something like, I got this. It's no big deal. I'm on the job. I know what you're going through. It's going to be okay. I have a plan. It's far better if you just listen to him and then believe him. Even if it's crazy, he's told me some stuff. He was going to pay for the land, our farm. I needed $240,000. No hope. It could have been 10 million. It was so far away. 2 weeks before the deadline. The landlord's on the phone with me. You know you're going to lose it, right? You know I'm going to take all the equity you've already paid. I'll rent it to you until I sell it, but you're going to lose everything. As I'm on the phone with him, the call waiting goes off, and the brother I'd never talked to about it, I didn't even know he watched the videos or knew what we were going through, says, "Hey, I just sold my big rental house, my big house. I'm in one of my rental houses. How about if I pay off the land for you and you can owe me for the balloon payment?" Just like that. I call the other guy that I just got a phone with and say, "I think we're good. God just took care of it. I'll get with you when I know more." Right now, we're in the middle of one. Like, he's saying stuff that's hard to believe, hard to believe. Like, this would be ginormous miracle, and I got to believe him. I can't. He didn't say it in some kind of equivocal way, so I'm just going to stand on what he's saying and believe the best I know how that he's going to do what he said he's going to do. Ashley's talking about Gen Z and little kids can't sit still without a phone. Well, little kids had trouble sitting still when I was a kid, without crayons or something. When I was in middle school, and we were in church all the time with the dad who's a pastor. It's Sunday night, Wednesday night, youth night on Thursday, evangelism night on Tuesday, choir practice, the whole deal. We would sit as far back in the church as we could without getting in trouble. I was old enough I didn't have to sit with my mom, and we didn't have children's church. I was older than that, so I had to sit in the service, and we would play Under the Covers. And a lot of you are from outside of church or from Catholic or some other background, so you don't know what Under the Covers is. But basically, you take the hymnal that's sitting there in front of you, and you just randomly open it to whatever page, and then you read the name of the song, and then you stick Under the Covers behind it. So it's like, "Behold, behold, the sun is risen," Under the Covers. And then you try not to giggle enough that your dad in the pulpit stops talking and looks at you with an angry look. And you can imagine, just search hymns sometime. There's tons and tons of good options to roll on the floor laughing at a stupid youth group kids game like that. Amazing Grace, Under the Covers. Whatever. Uh, anyway, that was our cell phones back in the day. So people are people, and we need some stimulation. But I think we're going to have to start taking stuff away from our kids if they're not going to grow up just complete idiots, and disconnected from other people and from God. Connor says this Christian walk is so much like a tightrope kind of walk. One unbalanced step could be catastrophic. How do we live in hope that God will catch us if we fall without being under a delusion? Okay, because you've got to change your way of thinking. He is not putting you through this to find some loophole to fry you. It's not a trick. It's not so that you can fall and he can be right that you were a sinner. He knows you're a sinner. You know you're a sinner. He sent his son out of his grace that he didn't have to loophole you into the kingdom. And he's not going to let the regular walk that we go through and the kind of attacks that we get when we're obeying him take us out. It just isn't like that. So yes, the narrow walk looks like a sidewalk. The broad way's over there. You can go all kind of ways to hell. It looks like a sidewalk when you get saved, and the closer and closer you get to him, then it's a balance beam, and then it's a line, and then it's a razor blade. I don't get scolded for smoking meth. I don't get scolded for hiring prostitutes. That doesn't happen. I get scolded because somebody was bearing their heart to me and I looked at my sandwich instead of keeping my eyes on her because I love my sandwich more than her. And then I got to hear I'm an adulterous whore and cry my eyes out and repent to him because I don't love like I should. because there's always more refining. There's always some way to get you closer to Jesus. But he's not doing it to smash me. He's not doing it to disqualify me. I'm not getting a ham sandwich faced red dragon. He's doing it because he loves me. And it's an open door. A rebuke is a door that he opens to bring you closer to him, to make you more like him, to fashion you more in his likeness. And when you understand that and appreciate that, one of my favorite verses, it'd do you good to memorize this. Psalm 141, 5 and 6. I will type that right here. Um, if a righteous man strikes me, it is a kindness. It's oil on my head will not refuse it. But my prayers are ever against the evildoers, that their rulers will be cast from the cliffs, and then they will know that my words were well spoken. That's the NIV, because that's what I memorized as a kid. But there's nothing in there about uh, Satan being the morning star or whatever, so don't worry about it. The point of the verse is, if you got a bigger cup of Jesus than me, swing for the fences. Knock my block off. Whatever you got to do, rebuke me for whatever if it's going to make me more like Jesus. But if you don't, my prayers are not against you. My prayers are against your deeds and your rulers. And when your rulers fly off the cliff like the demons of the Gadarenes and the pigs, then you'll be free and you'll realize that what I was saying made sense in the first place, and you were not helping. So, but the first part of it, I want to receive a rebuke. I go looking for people to rebuke me. I don't like it if I think I have people around me who are scared to rebuke me. I don't want that at all. I want brothers and sisters that are willing to say, I'm on the phone with a sister. God bless her, wherever she is now. God bless her. She was a big, important part of my life. I'm on the phone. We're dealing with what God said. I'm supposed to tell you. Dabba, 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 dabba. Okay. That's terrific. Thanks. Hey, do you know anything about whatever? What, da, 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 da? She's like, I'm sorry. The Lord says we're gossiping now, and I got to hang up. Click. I'm like, doggone, she was right. And willing to just, hurt feelings, willing to whatever, rather than grieve God by gossiping. And it was just about that fast. I want people that will be quick to say, you know what, there's something wrong here. There was a brother in the beginning sent to teach me how to walk this out and how to hear God better. And he was way out in front of me, way bigger cup than me. And I was desperate to suck up everything I possibly could, to learn as much as I could, as fast as I could. And he commented several times on like, dude, I have never met anybody receive a rebuke like you. You have like a forehead, like a chin of steel, because I'm pounding away from you. And you're like, yeah, hit me again, give me another one. And I'm implementing it. I'm learning from it. And I'm not doing it anymore, whatever it was. And I sucked everything I could out of his cup, and my cup got bigger and bigger until the day came I had to rebuke him. And he was all about, I don't do anything without asking God. I'm all about God. I love God. I'm only going to do what God tells me. And then something came up and he asked me to lie to his wife. And I'm like, did God really tell you to ask me to lie to your wife for you? And it just hit him like a car smashed into his head. And he was like, oh, man, just give me a second to work this out. And the Lord just totally, you know, and he received it and he cried and he kept score and he was unhappy that now I had rebuked him, and something new. My cup was bigger than his now, and the Lord rotated him out because there was nothing left. Um, anyway, Connor, he's not. He's always going to catch you. I've done so many things that I thought, man, people before me in line to do what I got to do would have got disqualified for this. And he says, "Nope, you're okay. You're okay. Your heart's right. You didn't I've never broken a fast intentionally. 2 or 3 times I he has me fasting without food or water. I'm doing the dishes. The kid leaves a french fry on the plate. I pop it in my mouth so I don't put it in the garbage disposal. I'm not thinking. 20 minutes later, I'm picking something out of my teeth. And I'm like, how did something get in my teeth? And I'm like, oh, shoot, I had a french fry. Lord, I'm so sorry. He's like, it's okay. I didn't see it. You're omniscient. What do you mean you didn't see it? He's like, you didn't do it intentionally. You didn't hide under the table and sneak a cookie hoping I wouldn't see it. Your heart wasn't wrong. You just weren't even thinking. I'm doing other stuff in my head. I'm doing the dishes. I won't pop. The One time I'm at my showroom and we have gourmet foods or whatever, and I offer somebody this chip with this fancy dip on it and whatever, and they're like, "Oh no, thank you." Whatever. And I popped it in my mouth, and then realized later, like, why am I picking tortilla chip out of my mouth? I'm sorry, Lord. He's like, it's okay. I didn't see it. He sees our heart, and if our heart's with Him, and the enemy gets the best of us once in a while, which they're going to. They're way smarter, been around way longer. He's our only hope. And he knows sometimes they're going to get the best of us. And it's a war. And you don't shoot the wounded, you bandage them up, you give them a little R&R, and then you put them back in the war. So Connor, I don't stress about catastrophic. I don't see it as catastrophic. I see it as disappointing him maybe, and I don't want to do that. But I don't see it as like I'm going to go to hell because this demon got me all riled up and I yelled at my wife or whatever. Um, he knows what we go through. Everything that's common to man, he's aware of, and it's not like that anyway. Uh, let's see. Am I getting? Where's my cursor here? Jopi, shalom. God bless you. What's up with the tent revival? We did that one. Uh, Demon Genius deal. Um, I would say double-mindedness would be one of the main things that the enemy uses to attack you. Demon in you is not the same as demon attacking you or talking to you or afflicting or oppressing or whatever. You are not possessed. Um, Trust me. Crystal is feeling hopeless about a situation, demonic influence. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not a Jesus influence. It could just be you. It could be chemicals. It could be whatever. It could be because you need a donut or need some more sleep or whatever. But it's certainly not the mind of Christ. And anything that's not the mind of Christ, I'm going to tell it to kick rocks. I don't want anything that's not the mind. I don't care if it's me. I don't care if I invited it. I don't care if I liked it. I don't nothing. Um, no, I want the mind of Christ. And the mind of Christ is going to say everything's okay. Don't worry about it. He's got a plan. Um, John D says Wilkerson and Branham both died in car crashes, I believe. Yeah, it is. They did. Branham, he had two prophets come to him a couple weeks before and said, "You're preaching nonsense. You're hurting the bride. You're outside of your calling. You've got one evangelistic sermon and a huge gift of healing. You're a bubba that doesn't know the Bible very well and shouldn't be teaching nonsense. If you don't stop, God's going to put a stop to it himself, but you're not going to lose your reward." He ignored them, and 2 weeks later was killed by a drunk driver. As the story goes, his son was driving in front. Drunk driver swerves into their lane. The son gets out of the way, and the car hits William Branham and his wife head on. The kid jumps out of the car, gets up on the hood of Branham's car. The windshield's broke out. Branham's got a steering column in his chest. Says, "How's your mother, son?" He says, "She's dead, Dad." He says, "Put my hand on her." Son lifts up Branham's hand, puts hand on mom. Mom comes back to life, healed. Branham goes into a coma, languishes for a couple weeks in hospital, and finally dies. But even to the end, had a gift of healing. But he did a lot of harm, loosed a lot of nonsense into the body that's still circling around. There's still people that say he's the end times Elijah or both of the two witnesses and really worship him and have missed the point. I don't think that's what happened with Wilkerson, but certainly people die in car crashes. Someday God will explain why it was time to take Keith Green, why it was time to take David Wilkerson, why other people uh, were seemed like there could have been so much more. Keith Green may have affected more people in his death than he could have in his life. I don't know. Maybe he was about to go off the rails, and God wanted to stop him before it went too far. Um, I don't know. Melody lives here in Kansas City. Last I knew, had some involvement with the House of Prayer down there, but uh, I don't know. Maybe it's to stop him from. He was getting involved with YWAM, Youth with a Mission, and visiting some of their missions around the world. And missions was real important to him at that time. And there's still people out on the mission field that committed their lives to missions because of his memorial service. You can watch the movie, The Life of Keith Green or whatever, on YouTube. It's really powerful. And you'll see a lot of similarities between what we're doing and what he did, except for me being a big musical talent. Um, I didn't realize till, I don't know, 7 or 8 years into this, how connected I am to Keith Green and to people that were with Keith Green and to doing the same kind of things with the same kind of heart he did. Um, anyway, we'll see. Uh, Ashley says, my fascination for communism was spiked. I found out I have relatives that are on the rebel side, violent people on this part of the world. What's your take on communism? It is absolutely, positively a doctrine of demons, twisting up the ideas of the Bible of sharing with each as they have a need and caring for one another and living simply and whatever. Communism never ends up that way. It always ends up a tyrannical, authoritarian rule with people that have everything ruling over people that have nothing. It's never been done right, and I don't think it could be done right. It is fundamentally requires atheism so that you can dehumanize and dismiss and eliminate the useless eaters. It is dangerous and all bad. Yeah, that's how I feel. If that was too subtle, ask me more specifically. Um, John, I think you're operating out of fear if you're unwilling to go on a little plane. I've been on little planes. Lots of people, it's still the safest way to travel. Not everybody dies on a little plane. God takes people home whenever he's good and ready, and you can't stay a day later than when he's ready to take you. So I'm going to go with it was Keith Green's time. I've heard about witches praying against him and praying he'd die and all that stuff, and maybe feeling like they got somewhere, but nothing gets past God. Whatever happens, he signed off on it. Crystal says, I'm having trouble hearing God. Is there something I can do to hear better? Again, turn off your phone, get some quiet time, expect to hear. As your faith is, let it be unto you. If you expect you can't hear God, then you probably can't hear God. If you expect that he's going to communicate with you somehow, one way or another, dreams, visions, open doors, through other people, directly in your ear, however he's going to talk to you, expect that he's going to, that he wants to, that he loves you, that you're his kid, and dads want to talk to their kids. You need to believe that he wants to and expect to hear him. Again, I think if we go back to looking at your relationship with Earth Dad, you're going to find some similarities in the relationship and the trouble you're having with the relationship. Baron says yo, and Doug says yo back. Um, yeah, finding whatever's in the way between you and God is a good start. Show me something I need to say I'm sorry for is a good start. That's one he likes to talk to you about. Clayton, so far the week's going well. We have stuff going. We still have our big tent out front, giving away lots of free stuff. Um, and doors opening and stuff flowing and stuff moving. We've hit some kind of unclog point where the dam is breaking and stuff that was backed up is moving, and on all kind of levels. So I'm looking forward to updating you all on that as we know more. Lay Lewis says, I think I need to be born again. Don't know what that posted 3 times. I only saw it once. Oh, no, there's another one. Well, that is a real thing. I don't believe that it sticks permanently because you said the sinner's prayer, or even if you had a real commitment of faith. People certainly can. If you can be a new creation in 1 minute moment to the next, you can certainly go back to the old one and or become some other one entirely, and um, have to ask God to restore unto you the joy of your salvation and renew a right spirit in you. Those are all evidences of somebody that thought, this is Psalm 51, evidences of somebody that thought, I'm not where I used to be, and I'm not where I ought to be, and I don't know how to get back there, and you need to do it to me. And that's a good prayer. I would encourage you to just read Psalm 51 out loud to the Lord as a prayer with as much heart and feeling as you possibly can. I think that's um, probably the answer he would tell me to give you at this time. My baby dad hasn't met the baby yet. Born May 12th makes me sad. Yeah, sorry, Maria. Baron's asking for prayer for his health scare recently. We need him around and up and going. So please pray for Baron. He's in Springfield, Ohio. Um, God told Wilkerson he was going to die. I'm willing to bet Wilkerson told God he wanted to go quick. Probably. Smith Wigglesworth woke up one morning and told his wife, God says I'm going home today, and laid down for a nap at noon, and by 1 o'clock he was gone. No particular physical reason, just time. But I would expect the Lord to warn me ahead of time too. Um, Josiah Leonard Ravenhill, he was one of the good ones. He was a real mentor to Keith Green too. I don't know how he passed away, but it was back in like 2080, 96 or 97 or something like that. I had a chance to meet his son once at a conference, but then he canceled at the last minute, wasn't there. Hit the like button so more people can see. Yeah, why not? There's 39 people have been here, 14 that hit the like button. Genius deal. Is somebody cursing you? There are people saying mean things about you. Yes. But the Bible says a curse without a cause cannot alight. Like a bird in flight, a curse without a cause cannot alight. So a curse can't land on you if you don't have some justification and cause for it, some open door or whatever else. VidPop says, is it okay for people to take ashes of the deceased loved ones and turn it into jewelry? I don't think it matters. Dead's dead. What you ought not to do is make it an idol or love it more than you love God or whatever. But, my mom's buried blocks from here. When Cindy and I got married, I drove her over there to say, hey, see, here's where my mom's buried. But I don't, you don't talk to dead people. You don't get advice from dead people. You don't rub your little thing. Come on, mom, help me. Come on, mom, help me. It's not, Jesus, as long as he's your focus, I don't think that stuff matters. There's no biblical prescription about cremation or not or whatever. People say, well, he's gonna raise us. We want to make it easy for him, so we're in a concrete thing around a casket, and we're all there, and all the pieces are there. And I'm like, if you got ate by sharks and digested and pooped out all over the Pacific, he's still gonna raise you. He does not have a problem knowing where all the little parts of you are. That's ridiculous. It's crazy how much like paganism we mix in with Christianity and then think like it makes sense and it all goes together. Alex says, Doug, do you believe in the rapture? If so, how much longer we got? Yes, I believe there is a rapture. I do not believe in the pre-tribulation rapture or a mid-trib rapture. I am of the pre-wrath position. If you want to look up prewrathrapture.com, it lays out all the biblical case for why it can't be this one, why it can't be this one, and why this is the only thing that makes sense. We meet him in the air. So there is a harpazo, a catching up. The word rapture is not in the Bible, but it says clearly that we meet him in the air, and we either meet him when he's coming at the Battle of Armageddon, or there's that's the third coming, because there's some second coming where we meet him in the air, which doesn't make any sense. So people say, well, he doesn't touch down, so it's not really a return. He just kind of came down to like the clouds and everybody saw him and we meet him in the air and then he goes back. And then the second coming, he comes from Battle of Armageddon. I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think we escape tribulation. I think we require tribulation to get the bride ready for him. Um, and I think it's very difficult to go to other countries where the Christians are being killed all the time and say, "Oh no, he loves you so much, he'll rapture you before anything bad happens," because that's how he's going to handle the Americans. He loves us so much. We all get raptured, but they're being persecuted and killed. More Christians were martyred in the last 100 years than in all of history up to that point combined. From Jesus up to 1900, more Christians were martyred in the 20th century. How do we tell them then? No, before it gets bad, he's going to rapture you. You don't have to go through anything. That's nonsense. Pre-wrathrapture.com if you want to go look it up. Hugs to everybody. God bless you all. Melinda, hugs to you too. John D. Oh, where'd it go? How close is your best opinion with the Lord call us home believers? I think we are up against the very beginning of the tribulation. I think you could make the case that we're in the first 3.5 years, but more likely we're just up on it. I think he takes us home at the end, that we meet him in the air. I don't think we get raptured at the beginning. Genius says, I remember reading the Apocrypha says, blessed art thou when thou art left behind. Yeah. The world's not fair. Israel's way is not fair, but God's way is fair. Yeah, no, we all suck. We're all horrible. I would love for someone to make a film about Smith Wigglesworth. His story needs to be more known. Yeah, John G. Lake too. Sometime after the fifth seal, maybe loads of opportunity to die in the first 5. Wonder if the Israel-Gaza war is another spiral from the Israel war with the tribes in the Promised Land. Yeah, I don't know. Lay up again. My advice was to pray Psalm 51 out loud. Really mean it. House Church leader John Finn has taught that the beast empire will mainly be the EU and not worldwide. He explained how Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar, king of the earth. Huh. Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to sit it out while everybody else is getting refined and persecuted. That doesn't make sense to me. I think the Babylon in Revelation 18 fits the United States more than anybody else. Ashley says there are guerrilla communist groups that would ask for revolutionary tax money. If they can't come to me, ask me, I decided I would give. I know you have some wisdom, full insight. What would you do? No, I don't think I'm going to support war on either side ever. I'm not. I'm pacifist in the sense that if somebody breaks into my house and I kill them, they're for sure going to hell. If I let them kill me, I'm for sure going to heaven, and they have more time to maybe feel bad and get a chance to go to heaven. So it works really counter to my spending my whole life trying to save people to then shoot somebody because they're trying to mug me or whatever. That doesn't make any sense to me. Even if they're smashing my kids in front of my face, torturing my wife, whatever, there have been Christians throughout history that were absolute pacifists that were not going to raise a hand. The Amish, the Mennonites, lots of groups, the Quakers, that were not going to lift a hand in self-defense or otherwise, would not fight for any army. If they were forced to serve, would be medics or something else. rather than carry a gun. Hacksaw Ridge is about. I don't want to support with tax dollars or any other dollars war of any kind. So happily, nobody's getting my tax dollars because I don't make anything. Um, Genius Zeal says, why do people say that Leonard Ravenhill and Paul Washer have a religious spirit? Because they have a religious spirit. Um, John says, I wish I could end James Brady's suffering. I don't know what's all fair, and maybe ending suffering prematurely is not fair. I don't know. I'm not perfect. My way is not fair. We prayed a lot about this, John, and I heard years ago that he drew the short straw, that this is crap duty, that the things he has to go through are absolutely necessary. He's going to thank the Lord for it one day, and lots of people are going to be affected positively by it. And there's nothing I can do to make it go shorter. That it's on the rails, that it's the Lord's plan, and that He'll end it when He's ready. And I feel for him too. I've cried for him a lot. I've prayed for him a lot. I've tried to give him whatever time he asked for. But I want him to rejoice and believe that it's a good thing and believe that God's for him and on his side and everything. But he has to swim up through layers and layers and layers and layers of demons just to catch his breath. So I love him like a son. I sympathize with what he's going through. I know better than to try to shorten somebody's refining. I've seen people that got launched out into their ministry before they were refined, and the damage that has caused to lots and lots of people. And I'm past that now. I want everybody to pray, throw me in the oven, and finish cooking this turkey. Take a flamethrower to me if you have to, and when I bang on the door and complain, don't let me out till you're done. Period. Uh, Somebody's rooting around in the warehouse, and I think I'm the only one here. So I don't know what that's about, but I'll go out and check in a minute. Try this little drinky thing. I don't know what that is. Well, I think I need to probably end the video. It's been an hour, a little over an hour, and I didn't fall asleep. But I need to go check who's rooting around in the warehouse. God bless you all. Praying for you. Um, Everything's okay. God's on the throne. It's going to be okay. He knows what he's doing, and you just need to ask him how to feel, and then shut up and feel however he tells you. Everything will be okay. God bless you. Love you all. Try to be back Thursday. Keep praying for us. If you want to help, there's links on the website how to donate, and we appreciate your prayers. In the name of Jesus, amen.